This is the problem. Most people don't know how to buy right. They're not structuring the deals in the right manner. They're limiting themselves to their own funds. So let's change our mindset here around how we structure deals, how we source deals, how we fund deals. We need to change our mindset around all of that. Hi folks, Paul McFadden here. So today we're going to take another listener's question, and this one comes from Michelle Davidson. So Michelle's asked, Paul, I've got £10,000. What should I do to get started in my property journey? Should I save up for a deposit, or should I borrow money to get started? Now, that's a really good question, and it's not an uncommon question. I actually get this question quite a lot. And the reason I get it quite a lot is because when people come across my profile, when people see me talking about my own personal journey and how I got started in property with no money, no knowledge, no resources, no contacts, you name it. What I did have was a burning desire to make change because I wanted to get out of my circumstances and situation that I was currently in my when I was like late teens, 19, 20, early 20s, I wanted to get out of the rat race. I knew I wanted something different, but my biggest challenge that held me back was finances, was contacts. But what I did do was get resourceful. So when I see questions like this, a lot of people say, Paul, I've got £5,000, I've got £10,000, I've got £20,000, I've got a small amount of money. Should I continue to save up the money to get a deposit? Because think about it, what is a typical deposit for a property purchase? Normally from a buy to let, you're looking at around 25%. So if the property's worth £100,000, that's what you're going to be purchasing the property at. The lender, the bank, if you're going to get a mortgage, they'll give you 75%, which is £75,000, and you need to come up with the balance of £25,000 as a deposit, and you've got your legal fees, and you've got your stamp duty, and you've got your other professional fees as well. So in that example, you really probably need about £30,000, 25 for the deposit, an extra £5,000 in costs just to purchase the property. Now what happens if, in Michelle's example here, she's looking to save up? Now, first and foremost, what is the typical deposit required for a property in her gold mine area, in her location, where she's buying? This is something for you to think about as well. Because if it's in London, I can guarantee you the deposit is going to be a couple of £100,000. So it's all relevant to where you are, wherever you're looking to buy, depending on the amount of deposit you need for the property purchase. And the south side of Glasgow, where a lot of my portfolio is, it is around about the £20,000 mark for a deposit and all the associated costs. So your money can go a little bit further if you're looking to utilise those funds. And again, even for me, that £20,000 was a lot of money. I never had that. And I told you, and I've said this many times on what I did to focus on, but what I'm suggesting here is no, don't go saving for a deposit. Because when you're looking to save up for a deposit, it's going to take time. First and foremost, how much money can you put aside each month? Now, for some people, saving is the most difficult thing for people to do. And with lots of things happening out in the world that we live in, through social media, through marketing, through newspapers, through adverts, through the media, you name it, they're trying to fight for your attention for you to do what? For you to spend your money, for you to, and it's not to invest your money, it's to spend in things that's not going to give you a return. So even though that we're looking to try and save, it takes a real discipline to save money. And again, how much is that you can save? Is it a few £100s? If it's £500, then again, over the course of 12 months, that's £6,000 that you'll have saved up. Now, if you've saved up £6,000 and you're looking to, and you've only got £10,000 here, and let's say that you need to try and bring up, £25,000 of funds to have available to purchase a property for the deposit and all associated costs, that doesn't even factor in the refurb costs. And again, if you're buying property right, you make money when you buy. And when you make money when you buy, you're looking to buy the right type of property that you can buy at discount, that you can add value through a renovation and a refurb. So maybe you'll need £35,000. So in this example here, Michelle's got £10,000 set aside, and then she goes and saves £500 a month for the course of a year. It's £6,000. So at the end of 1 year, she's got £26,000. If she goes another year and doing the same thing, and she keeps disciplined and resists all the temptations out there, which is a difficult thing to do in the first place. And let's face it, life gets in the way. Things happen. Emergencies happen. Issues happen. Problems happen. Family. There's always issues with family, isn't there? So with all that in mind, what's going to end up happening, listen, we're all human. People are going to tap into their savings. They're going to tap into those resources. So what should really only take, if you're being consistent and disciplined, should only take you 2 to 3 years to pull up some extra money to get 25, actually probably 4 years. 4 years, that's £24,000 if we're going by the £500 a month, £6,000 a year, plus our original £10,000, gives us £34,000, the average that we need for the deposit, for the associated cost and the refurb for one property purchase. 4 years. And the question is, how long is it taking you to save up that original £10,000 in the first place? So when we look at all of these variables, what's going to happen in 4 years? The strategies are going to have changed. The strategies that are working today are not relevant in 4 years' time, most likely. The market could have fluctuated and changed. The property that you're looking to buy right now could have increased in value, which means what also is increased is the deposit that you need. Financing may be more difficult, maybe easier, whatever it may be. 4 years is a long time in this property game. I've been in property for 13 years and there's been multiple, every cycle there is, I've experienced in those 13 years. So when we're thinking way into the future, I'm going to save money, the challenge you've got there is that it's going to be slow, it's going to be painful, you're going to need to be really disciplined. And then when you're doing all of this, what you're not doing, and this is the key thing, is that you believe you need to deposit money, those funds available before you can actually start mastering the art of property, understanding different investment strategies, understanding how to structure deals, understanding the importance of cash flow, understanding your gold mine area, understanding all the refurb costs, understanding and getting together your power team, how to source properties. And here's the key thing that's going to accelerate your whole journey and change the whole 4 year, 5 year cycle of saving up money: how to master the art of raising finance. Because if you master the art of raising finance, you can master the art of using other people's money. And other people's money is not just an individual's, it could be private institutions, it could be non-traditional ways of raising funds. So we talk about this at Property Protege. We make a big focus on raising finance because it's the number one skill that you've got to master. Because if you can master the skill of raising finance, then guess what? You don't need to wait 4 years. You can go out and do that. And we've had people that come off the back of Property Protege and inside a week, a month, a few months, they're raising tens of thousands of pounds. Some people, hundreds of thousands of pounds. There's a whole different game out there because you don't know what you don't know. And if we keep on doing what we've been taught at school, at high school, at college, and what is that? Get a good degree, get a good college education, whatever it is, college education, university degree, then go and work up the corporate ladder. And as you're working up the corporate ladder, what should you be doing? Saving for a deposit to buy your first house. It's the same traditional bullshit that we've been taught that needs to be shook up, it needs to be changed. We need to think differently because there's another game getting played there. And the good news is that you, Michelle, and anyone else, you can participate in that game. You don't have to wait that length of time. You can start acting now. And how can you do that? Well, first and foremost, listen to podcasts. Get this knowledge. We've got, I have no idea, over 100 hours of podcast material out there with lots of great content. Or if you're looking to accelerate your journey, you're looking to fast track it, then do what I did in the early days for me. And I surround myself with the right people. I invested in my education. So what would I do? Here's a different question. I'm going to propose a different question to you, Michelle. For £10,000 that you've got, it's not a lot of money, I'm afraid. It might seem like a lot of money to you. In the early days for me, it was a lot of money, I promise you. But could you maybe focus on a different strategy, such as an assisted sale? Could it be a delayed completion? Could it be an option? Could it be that you joint venture with someone and you put some of the money up? Or do you joint venture with someone, you source a deal, and because you've sourced the right deal, someone else brings all the money into the table for you to do the deal? Meaning you've got that £10,000 of disposable income to build your business, start your business, get your business off the ground, or more importantly, invest in the number one investment you'll ever make in your whole life. This is for everyone, not just Michelle, and that is investing in yourself. Investing in getting the knowledge, the know-how, the understanding of the different investment strategies, understanding what to do with your money, understanding how to raise finance, understanding how to structure deals, how to source the deals, understanding all the different moving parts to property. That is the single best investment someone can make. If you don't have, I'm talking about accessible like this, enough for the typical deposit, acquisition costs and refurb money for a typical deal in your area that you're looking to go and buy, if you don't have that easily accessible funds, if you have £30,000 and that's what you need and that's only going to get you one property, then you're limited to one property. What do you do when you go and invest that? You need to hope that you buy right to add the value, to refinance, pull your money back out to go for property number two. If you don't have a good investment criteria, you don't buy right, you don't add enough value, you've bought the wrong property in the first place, what's going to happen is that you won't get all of your funds back out and you're going to be left with having to save again. This is the problem. Most people don't know how to buy right, they're not structuring the deals in the right manner, they're limiting themselves to their own funds. So let's change our mindset here around how we structure deals, how we source deals, how we fund deals. We need to change our mindset around all of that because it's a different game getting played. I've said this so many times and it's up to you where you want to participate. And what I recommend to anyone who's limited on funds, and hey, if you've got a couple £100,000, if you go and invest that right, what happens when it's tied up? What do you do next? Do you sit there and twiddle your thumbs? No. So you should be mastering the art of raising finance. This is why I've never put a penny of my own money into any deals I've ever done from the day I get started in property to today. And we're involved in some large scale land developments. You know, I'm talking about one of our largest land development is over 2,500 units. Not a single penny of my own money's went into there. Why? Because I mastered the art of raising finance. I mastered the art of structuring deals. I mastered the art of doing joint ventures. All the stuff that you should be mastering. And how do you do that? By listening to podcasts, by reading the books, by getting yourself out there at networking events, by speaking to people who have been down that path that you want to travel, who have went and done what you're looking to do, and more importantly, invest in your education. You know, invest in it by going on Property Protege or going on another education company's courses out there in the UK. Go and find the right fit for you because it's going to help you fast track your journey. You're going to get knowledge. Hey, if you came on Property Protege, you're going to get knowledge that's taken me 13 years. You're going to get that condensed, the do's, the don'ts, what to avoid, learning from my mistakes. That's real wisdom, not going making your own mistakes, learn from other people's mistakes, my mistakes, and how to do it right. And you can condense that into a year, 2 years, 3 years. We've got people, students that came through Property Protege who are now doing what I'm doing today, 13 years later, inside their first 2-3 years. That's how crazy education, and that's how crazy an investment in yourself, that's how crazy it could go. So that is what I would be recommending you do, Michelle. Don't think about saving up, think about investing that money in yourself, into your business. Master the art of raising finance, master the art of sourcing deals and structuring deals, and you're made, you're set up for life. So if you're listening and you're maybe like Michelle and you're wondering, should I be saving more money or not? No, stop that. It's not going to happen, it's not going to work. Even if you do it, the strategy is going to be out of date when it comes to the time that you decide you've got enough funds. And if you've still got the appetite and excitement to buy property and life gets in the way, so let's think differently around how we finance our deals and how we do things and realise the number one investment you can make is not in bricks and mortar, a house, it's in you. And if you're limited with funds, that is the first investment you should be making. And if you're interested in looking at our program, Property Protege, I'd encourage you to go to propertyprotege.com, check that out, see if it's a program that works for you. If it's the right fit, great, book in a call, we can have a conversation, a chat, and welcome you on board in our program. And that'll be the start of an exciting journey going forward. Whether you're new or an experienced investor, we cater for everyone. So thanks again for listening, all the best, and I'll speak to you again soon. Bye for now.